This is a space. This is a space. Can you hear me? Air is enough. No need to worry. At least enough for two. This is a space. Information, resources, you have everything. To find what's lacking is far more difficult, except one little thing. The whole world is kind to me, but sorry. Wearing a fine suit, paying by a credit card, but I cannot prove myself. This is a space. This is a space. Can you hear me? The world may crumble down with just one piece missing. The whole world is kind to me, but sorry. Wearing a shiny crown, paid by a blank check, that still will not convince myself. This is the center of the universe, but without a her, I'm not here. Only my shell remains here. Lonely my soul led somewhere. Freesia, here I am, and sorry. Flying through the galaxies, handshaking everywhere, but I want you by my side. The whole world is kind to me, but sorry. Wearing a fine suit, paying by a credit card, but I cannot prove myself.
Hey everyone, let's get ready for some Scarlet Nexus after that Fool's Gold Q&A stream went so well. Nice to see you, Trom. The new Dive movie. I don't think I've heard about a movie called Dive. Oh, Dune. Yeah, I mean, that looks cool. Dune's a... I mean, Dune's a classic, so... Hopefully the adaptation goes well. Didn't they do one, like, late 90s, early 2000s? Also, I think we've chatted with everyone now. I think we can actually progress with the game. I don't need to give Kyoka more candles. Paragamer, thank you so much for the host. Give me a sec. Dune series? Okay. Alright, let's start the next phase.
I'm sorry I made you all worry.
I've got...
Are you alright?
I've got a fashioned.
I'm fine. And we have to hurry back to the Kunad Gate.
I'm not gonna actually call it an old fashioned.
There again?
Because I don't have any bitters. And I only had lemon peel.
We must get rid of the
but I had all the other ingredients, so it's just a fashion.
The world will eventually be destroyed.
Entanglements? What are they?
We should head to the Kunad Gate before I explain it further.
Okay. Then we'll go to the Kunad Highway. Everyone get ready. Mom,
let's go drive.
You can have a seat here.
Thank you.
But does Arena approve? Actually, so
that was sudden.
I guess the Fool's Gold crew a while ago were making like
with your older brother?
little recipes based on their characters' preferences.
We don't really get along anymore.
And I made a little one based on my character, Phantom Thief Luna.
Can you tell me what's happening in your time, in the present?
Give me a sec. Let's see if I can link it.
And that's basically it. The only other thing is the existence of the Kunad Gate.
There it is.
Thank you. Along with Babe's data, I think I understand a lot now. Are we almost ready to leave?
I'll throw this in the chat.
Oh, yeah. We are.
Let's go, Mother.
So I played a character who, for his backstory, was underage, but was still like a
fine young lady.
Well,
not
a thief.
My place to say that, though.
And he wanted to go to the bar with his friends, but the bartender was like, I ain't giving you alcohol, but I don't have the heart to tell you that you don't get alcohol.
To kill you.
So
I don't remember much about being in Togetsu.
Instead of bourbon, he used like really strong oolong tea and made an old-fashioned out of that.
I have to say thank you to your sister.
I'm sure she'll be happy.
I'm actually going to retweet that because I really liked it.
Even after everything.
You're going to next about 80% of your paycheck just for the Fool's Gold Kickstarter campaign. Holy shit, Paragamer. That's some crazy support. Thank you so much. Like, God, we unlocked tunes. I can tell my friends that there's a Fool's Gold OST.
Ultimately, Yuito and Kasane have to enter the Kunad Gate and unravel the entanglements. What I'm telling you here is just a concept. The traces interfering with time should look like tangled red threads. According to Togetsu's theory, whenever you jump through time, a dimensional hole like the Kunad Gate is created, but it should then disappear. The reason this hasn't disappeared is because Yuito and Kasane's powers resonated.
So it's just like the Ultra Mega Kunad Gate.
The theorized gates in that it's persisting in a distorted state. Using a distorted gate for a time jump.
But yeah, I mean those stretch goals, right?
If you can unravel those entanglements, you can close the Kunad
Like the
Gate.
VTT assets, I think people are really excited about. Of course, there's the Kylandria expansion.
I don't really get it
and then
yet.
like there's the podcast
when
that they're gonna do.
Enter the Kunad Gate. Do you mean go into that hole in the sky?
That strange space.
No, I get you, Barry.
You saw it too.
Sometimes
When the gate
autocorrect
first
doesn't
opened.
pull through for you either, so.
Oh, that place with all the weird images?
That's right. That strange space that Kasane mentioned exists inside the Kunad Gate. It is a concept of space that only exists for those with the Red String's power. Togetsu called it the Chronos Terminal.
Perhaps it's a kind of station or junction point for traveling through time.
So only Yuito and Kasane
So we got
can
time
perceive
travel, we got
it.
space travel, we
I
got
guess
brain
that
powers.
explains why we didn't notice it when we
This
jumped in
game
the
likes to
future.
cover all of its bases, doesn't it?
When there is time contact between 2020, when the gate was made, and another time, entanglements are created.
And apparently this game happens in 2020.
Time contact? Is that any different from time travel?
It's a broader definition
They,
of time travel.
they don't have to deal with
Even if
COVID,
you
they have to
don't
deal
arrive
with,
at
like,
that time, even if you just
monsters.
attempt.
So I think we're
Basically,
even.
If someone with the red string's power even touches that time, there is a trace. That
If you were to
is
do an
time
adaptation of
contact.
G-Ranger,
The only
it's
way
not
to
Mighty
actually
Morphin.
see which times
Instead
have
of Budai
entanglements
having a
is for the
change of
two
heart
you
out of
to go
nowhere,
and check for yourselves.
Geki decides to stop fighting him and let Budai kill him.
So I guess the only thing we
This
can do
confuses
is
him
leave
as he
it to
wants to defeat
Yuito
Geki
and
first,
Kasane.
but he's just letting him do it.
Even if we find
Tries
the
to, but
entanglements,
stops and demands him
we
to
won't
fight
know how
back
to unravel
because
them
it shouldn't
until
end
we
like
see
that.
them.
That sounds like a good
The
time,
Chronos
Daybreak.
terminal is
Ooh.
conceptualized by your powers, so you'll know how to unravel them.
That would
Not
be an
with
interesting
reason,
concept
but
to go
with
into. Just
intuition.
not only like what you
Also, I'm
described,
weak,
but to
I can
adapt
use the red
G-Ranger,
strings, so
not
I'll
necessarily
support
Mighty
you from
Morphin.
here.
Okay, so we just need to use the red strings again and enter the Chronos terminal.
I'm going with you this time.
Which would be
You don't know
worse,
what kind of
COVID or
dangers will be there.
monsters?
Make sure you're ready before you go.
Is it bad that I
If it
can't
gets
decide?
dangerous, you both come right back.
Don't worry, we will.
Dingo does make her own production
Just
company.
take
Would I
care of my
animate
mother.
for her? I mean, if
Keep
she
her safe.
asked. I haven't done a lot of animation
It's all
recently,
right. Don't worry.
so.
We will protect.
But like, if she did
Wakana.
make a production company, you bet I'd be auditioning for
All right, we
voice
don't have
roles.
much time. Let me know when you're ready.
I got the hang of using the red strings now.
I think
Yuito's here this time. I have to do this right.
I think just because you're friends doesn't necessarily mean that your friends should hire you, right? I just maybe it's a point of personal pride, but I would prefer to be hired on my merits as opposed to knowing someone. And if those two things correlate, then that's great. But if I'm hired by a friend just because I'm their friend, I'll always wonder if I'm actually good enough. Or if it's just because I know them. Damn, Arashi, you strong. You missed my response? Oh, just, like, I think it's a really cool scenario. Both your particular one and just adapting G-Ranger as G-Ranger as opposed to Mighty Morphin. I think it's a really cool concept to try and, like, do a version of the original story of G-Ranger. Yeah, I'll go into the Chronos terminal. I don't have anything better
Good
to
to go,
do.
Kasane?
You deploy in a heartbeat?
ready.
Mm-hmm.
Focus your consciousness together. Picture the site of the Chronos terminal.
To the Chronos terminal.
We will unravel those entanglements.
That's his catchphrase. We will unravel those entanglements.
It looks like we actually made it. Are each of those images connected to different times?
We can't just stand around. We have to search for the entanglements.
I love
guess
how
it's nothing new
Yuito's
when it's your
normal, but
third time. So,
Kasane
how
is
do we
bourbon.
find him? I don't feel anything yet.
That's my beat. I never
It must be Mother.
do like visual accessories
She
in
guiding
games
us?
like this, but
Let's go.
this time I decided to do it. Think you do well? And honestly, I feel she'd hire me for my experience working with animation
How
companies.
are they inside
Eh.
the Chronos terminal?
Calm down. That place is built from your consciousness.
Again,
It's an imaginary world. It is a very
I kind of consider
unstable
myself a
place.
former animator at this point, just because I'm departing on a
Your
new
fear and anxiety,
journey.
all of your emotions affected. The memories of your past made others appear.
I love doing animation. It was a
So
really good
basically,
time until
you're
I
saying
burnt
that
out.
These others were created by
But,
our mental immaturity.
I think I'm gonna go real hard on
makes
the
us sound pretty lame.
entertainer angle.
But if we made them, we can take
I
them down,
really
too.
think that
I know the two of
I
you
can make
handle
other
it,
people
but be
and
careful.
myself really, really happy if I just go full bar on trying to be an entertainer. Whether that means, like, being a streamer full-time, or going into voice or live acting, maybe even stage acting.
As long as your brain thinks so, it's the same as if it was.
I want people
You have to fight it.
to
Let's keep
see
going.
something that I've done and just for a second forget their troubles.
It's close.
And I think that's where I'm most happy. At first I thought that would be an animation role, like drawing stuff and making pictures come to life. But I guess the more and more that I thought about it, the more I feel that my strength lies in, I guess, my presence. Because it's something that I'm not particularly good at showing off in my art, personally. At least I don't think so. That's just a personal opinion. Just like the idea of a villain being conflicted like that. That would be really cool.
Shoo. We did it.
Yeah, sorry to get kind of deep there. If I had my choice, who would I want to voice over as? Like, which characters? I mean, I guess in the context of if I'm working for Dingo,
It's like my head is buzzing.
I'd absolutely love to... I don't know, because the Fool's Gold universe is so vast, right? I feel like anyone from Fool's Gold with my register would just be a fun time. I think it would be fun just to... I think it would be fun to play, like, Mr. Wizardly. Just be like... Ah, these idiots again. What do you want? Can't you see I'm busy? Doing nothing?
This is the old OSF hospital on that day in 2009. It's an entanglement.
Yeah. I don't understand
This
it, but I can
crossword
feel
won't
it.
fill out itself.
This is definitely it. If we want to successfully unravel this, then I'm betting that we have to use the
But
red
in terms
string,
of just
our
general roles,
Yes.
I would absolutely
I feel
love
it
to
too.
work
We should be able to make
on
this
anything
work.
by Studio Trip. Whether that's just like a
Another one.
background role
Let's hold it
or
off while we unravel the entanglement.
really anything that they would give me. I mean, of course I would say JoJo. In like 8,000 years when Steel Ball Run comes out, if I were able to just audition for the role of Gyro Zeppeli, I think I could die right there. I wouldn't even need to play the role, to know that they were like, yeah, no, I think you're good enough for the role, we want to hire you. I think my life could end there and I wouldn't be down about it.
Let's regroup now.
I'd love to be a Persona protagonist or like a party member. It would be really fun to be like Jason Todd.
Time for stealth.
That seems to be the spot.
I'll do it. Checkmate. It should unravel.
Oh wait, I have to do this. I have to make the spider lilies go away.
It should unravel.
Like spoofs and webcomics? Absolutely. Well, part of what I want to do for my voice reel is just
This will make the Kunad
try out
Gate
my voice in
disappear.
other roles. Like,
Hey,
I want to do the
Kasane,
Unlimited Blade
that
Works
day,
chant.
I never got the chance to thank you properly. So, thank you for saving
Or
me.
just go like,
What?
Potion Seller!
That came out of nowhere.
I'm going into battle and I
You were the one
require
that
more
saved me
potions.
11 years ago at the hospital, right? I remember it perfectly now.
I ask of
used to
you
be a
again,
dud,
Potion Seller.
And then all of a sudden I had
I'm
powers.
going into battle,
My
and I
power
require
awakening?
potions.
I think it was because you shared yours with me.
What? Powers aren't something you can just share.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying sounds silly, but if it were possible, it was thanks to meeting you that day that I'm still alive, and have reached my goal of getting into the OSF. That's what I think, so... Thanks. for
I am going to
saving
be
me.
going for like formal training
You're
next year.
Is that what I'm supposed to
I'm
say?
hoping around September next year I'm going to be
You
going
look totally
to
confused,
school for acting,
but that's
which means
okay.
streams are going to slow down, but
I think it's unraveled
I'm
now.
going to just
Everyone is
really go
probably
full
worried
bar
about
into
us.
it.
Mother's power. I can still feel it.
So
I feel like with
there's more
something
than one
creative like
entanglement?
that, you can't just
If
do
so,
it on a
it's
whim.
simple.
You
You
have
just have
to
to unravel
like
all of
fully
them.
embrace it.
Right. Okay.
Like you have to
let's go.
dive head first.
We did unravel that entanglement, right?
I think so. But something still feels off.
So you feel it too. Something's bothering
If
me.
you only put like part of yourself into it instead of like going full bar. I found that specifically in my animation and illustration classes, that's where people kind of
Here's another one.
Is that
weren't
50
able
pieces
to
that should be gone?
keep up, you know?
This is the other that
Like
attacked
if they
Yuito.
weren't putting their whole self into it, that's when things just didn't work out. Okay, so I do have to do something about these guys. So I mean, unsolicited advice, but like,
Useless.
you know, if you're going to go do something, do it all the way. Do your absolute best to just put your entire self into it. Even though, like, it'll hurt if you fail. That I guess that's just a reality of life when you try anything, right? You'll always have to face the concept of failure. But understand that, like, success is also equally likely. And it's even more likely the more effort you put into it.
We did it.
Oh, I fucked that up. Yuito, if you could deal with those, I'll stand here and unravel these threads.
I'll try.
You did a real good job trying to kill me, so try to kill other stuff now, too. There we go. Having fun with
This
animating, and
feature
you're
should
looking
now
at
no
classes on
longer
Skillshare
exist.
for voiceover training?
Have you ever thought about what you would do if you could travel to the past and change history?
You mean after we remove the Kunad Gate?
Yeah.
I think Erin
The
Fitzgerald,
ability to travel through time freely.
I mean, the biggest voice I
That's
know
the
that she
true
played was
power of the Red
Chie
Strings.
from Persona 4. She
Right.
does voice acting training
If I could
lessons
go
as
back
well,
and
and
save
I'm
my
considering
sister.
doing some with her too.
I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought of it. I wanted to save Naomi. I just kept thinking there must
Also,
be a way over and
big
over
thing
again.
about applying for
Every
animation
now and then
jobs.
I'm reminded that
When,
I won't see her again.
When they
And it
say that
rattles
you
me.
need like 5 years experience for an entry-level job,
If I
that's
could
just
change
them being an
history so
asshole.
Naomi wouldn't turn
Because
into
they don't
another.
necessarily need those
that was
5 years.
something
They
I
just
could
put that
actually
there
do.
so that... And I've been told
I
this
don't
by
think I'll do
a
it.
director of a
Why?
project before. A lot of times
Because
they
if you
only put
change
those
the
crazy
past,
qualifications
No one knows
to
how it will affect everything
deter
after
people
that.
who don't really mean it, which is dumb,
If we were in a different
but that's
platoon,
the game.
if we weren't scouted, if I was never adopted, is changing the past until I get the results I want really saving Naomi?
Yes, probably.
And not just Naomi. It's not right to go back and change the lives of everyone in the world just for my own selfish desires.
Yeah, I guess it's not
Same
right
with
to mess
tattoo
with
shops?
everyone
I
else
bet.
just to fulfill your wants.
It's a really stupid
It's
practice
painful, and
because
there's a lot of suffering we have to
you deter a lot of really
It's a
good
burden we
talent
must
that
carry.
just wants to
Sorry,
follow the
It
rules.
was weird of me to bring up. That being said, I am glad I asked, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm relieved you agree.
You shouldn't be punished for just
But
playing the
this
game.
mindset is
You
thanks
know?
to you. I've learned so much.
The same goes for me. I think my old self
Come
would
on,
have come
Iced
to a
Tea.
different conclusion.
I mean, I don't think you would have even talked to me for this long, back when you first joined.
You know that's
Is this
not...
Carson of the famous Shark
Okay,
Space?
perhaps you're right about that.
Nah, that was my 1999 website that was trying to rival another one, but didn't quite pan out.
This is Mom's... There's still an entanglement?
But all the time periods
At
we
least
traveled
Tom's
to-
still my friend.
No, now's not the time to think about it. Can you keep going?
I'll be okay. I'm probably
my brain's
just a little
extended
tired
warranty?
from using my brain too much.
We should hurry.
You want me to finally buy that? Because I always say no to those extended warranties. Because I take good care of my shit.
You only traveled to those 2 times, right?
Yes, I think those are the only ones.
I understand getting extended warranties for certain things in certain circumstances. Like, if I had a 3-year-old, damn straight I'll get the extended warranty for my video game system. They're gonna mess it up. They're gonna destroy it.
Suragi Crest.
But, like,
That's it. This
I
is
have
the
a
image I saw
phone
at the
from,
start.
like,
Right.
2000 and...
Sumeragis crest.
I want to
It seems like a
say
time
4,
entanglement
actually.
appeared then.
It's a Nokia brick from 2004 that's still perfectly functional. I can plug it in, see my text messages from 2004. Because I take good care of my shit.
What? How?
Former Major General Karin.
I was really emphasizing that
They're
he
going
wanted
to
to be
keep
an
coming.
experienced artist.
We need to
Like,
unravel
already
the
starting
entanglement.
the I want you to rely on me PS? Oh, fuck. Yeah. And that's the thing. Sometimes you don't know if a company is going to be a good fit until you get into the interview. Like, I applied for an animation position, and I'm fully willing to put this this company on blast because they suck. At a studio called Snake Takes. They were making a game called End of the Beginning
Close.
since, I want to say, 2001, and it's still not out yet. And part of the reason that's probably still not out yet is because they take hopeful, fresh out of school graduates for animation, illustration, what have you. Offer them like a high-tier job, like a senior animator position or whatever, but say that they'll only get paid once the profits start coming in. On a game that they've been making since the early 2000s. And I didn't know that that was their, I guess, philosophy until I had an interview with the owner and I brought up the question of reimbursement. And the guy was like when I said, I'm sorry, but I can't afford to take an unpaid gig at this time, but thank you for your, I guess, time. And the guy was like, no thanks, we only want people who know what this project is worth. And it's like, now I'm laughing. Now I'm like, ah, haha, this project is worth absolutely nothing. And I think the owner of the company is a COVID denier too, so. Oh shit. Yuito, could you help me out? Yuito was not able to help me out. Oh, I'm booted back out here? Shit, I need to do that in one shot then. Sorry guys, give me 1 sec. There we go. Okay, let's try that again.
Good to go, Kasane?
Programming company trap.
I'm right.
Hires graduates, give them 8 weeks of training, and then sends them somewhere in the country with a guaranteed
It looks like
job.
We
Quit
actually
the job
made
before
it.
2 years. You owe them 38K for their.
Are each
God.
of-
Yeah, you read
can't
that in the
just stand
contract. You
around.
say no.
We have to.
Or you request a modification of the contract.
So if our consciousness is native, is this other an illusion? It sure looks real.
As long as your brain thinks so, it's the same as if it was. We have to fight it.
But yeah, every once in a while, I look up and see what Snake Take Studios is doing. And the answer is not much. And it fills me with a certain kind of happiness. Because it's like, a D&D game that we played in a basement is doing better than your game studio that you've had since the early 2000s.
It's down. Let's finish it.
He died in the game, he died for real. I always forget what the title of that movie was, but I distinctly remember watching it and renting it from Blockbuster. Arizona, relying on whatever pay the company got you, and with no ability to quit and no family or friend support. So it was a cult. Because that's what cults do. That's some really culty behavior.
Let's keep going.
Setting the oil on fire is an effective strategy.
That's the plan. My girl Hanabi has my back.
Hey, do you feel something?
Fun fact, Hanabi's name means
It's like my head is
fireworks.
buzzing. It's weird.
That might be sunk cost fallacy of its users or culty shit. I absolutely believe that. That or it's a position of like, hey,
All right.
give us a good
I know
review
what
or
you're
you're
doing.
fired.
Right, Yuito?
I picked the wrong SAS.
Let's go.
Alright, make me invisible.
I feel
That
it.
way I can hold the left button.
Good job,
And if I
Kasane.
can unravel
The enemy
all
lost
these
sight of us.
threads before my invisibility runs out, I'm golden.
Us together.
Because those guys are going to disappear.
I can still fight.
That's why you're still currently a waiter. Absolutely, I getcha.
This will make the Kunad Gate disappear.
Hey, Kasane. That day,
I think, and this might be a controversial opinion, it's
We did unravel that
okay
entanglement, right?
to do free work
I think so.
so long as you're the one
Something
who
still
offers it.
feels off.
So you feel it too.
And
Something's
I say
bothering
that because sometimes there's just something that you really want to put your effort towards that it's worth your time, even if you're not getting paid.
I'm taking this.
Is that
But
simply
only
the
you can make that
future?
decision, and if
That should be
anyone
gone.
else brings it up that there's no pay,
This is
then
the
chances
unread
are
attack, Yuito.
you're not going to enjoy your time at all. And it's going to be a real toxic environment.
Try. This future should now no longer exist.
have you ever thought about what you would do if you could travel to the
Apply
past
for a front
and
desk
change
job at a
history?
dentist office?
You
For your
mean
CNA to go
after
use?
we remove the Kunad
I mean, anything
Gate?
that you need to do to
Yeah.
pay the bills while you focus
The
on stuff that
ability
you
to
like,
travel
right?
through time freely. That's the true power of the red strings.
Right. If I could go back and save my sister, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought of it. I wanted to save Naomi. I just kept thinking there must be a way over and over again. Every now and then I'm reminded that I won't see her again, and it rattles me.
Sure.
If I could change history so Naomi wouldn't turn into another, if that was something I could actually do, I don't think I'd do it.
Why?
Because if you change the past, no one knows how it will affect everything after that. If we were in a different platoon, if we weren't scouted.
Okay, I think we heard about that.
You only traveled to those 2 times, right?
Yes, I think those are the only ones.
Okay. Just want to play D&D and eat hot chip? I mean, what do they do on Critical Role but play D&D and eat hot chip?
Help me, Kagura.
Alright, Kagura. Help me stay invisible so I can do this. I think I can also do it in hyperspeed too.
I'll try.
I don't think I'm supposed to be doing it this way, but I think it's hilarious that it's letting me do it this way. Look at that! Was worried that you left medicine due to mental health? Yeah, people were dying every day. I had someone bleed to death on me.
Yuito?
I don't know how many people that can be okay with that.
I don't think I can take much more either.
So, did we do it? That should be all of them, right?
Probably, but something doesn't feel right. Karin and Yakumo.
Oh, absolutely, RDF.
What
like,
happened
from
to
what
them?
I've seen of Critical Role, because I'm not really into it, but, you know, being tangentially related to the D&D community. Though, with the D&D stream next week, I don't know if I'm going to be ingrained into it or not afterwards. They've gone so far in bringing D&D to the mainstream, and they deserve every ounce of success that they've had.
Oh, good, you're awake.
Like,
It seems like we made it
it feels like they did the same thing that Rooster Teeth did, right? You know, they started with like some web content that got really big, that allowed them to branch out into other stuff, and eventually they became a production studio. I think Critical Role's go in that direction.
Mother, we unraveled the entanglements, so why?
Their D&D campaign is just their red versus
Leave
blue.
the rest to me.
What?
Thank you for growing up so strong. You've made a lot of wonderful friends. Those connections are much more valuable than any red
You
stone.
hate feeling like you need to
Treasure
prove you're
them
good
for the
enough?
rest
You have
of
trouble
your
convincing yourself? Buddy, I absolutely relate. I have such big imposter syndrome. It's not even funny. And the only thing that I can think to do to push through it is just to keep going, despite any feelings that I might have.
You can't go back to the past.
If you go back, Toketsu will.
It
Like,
has to be done.
Fuck.
Forgive me.
Even right now, I don't feel like I'm good enough. Like, especially with
longer I
how
remain
Fool's Gold is doing, because I don't feel like I contributed enough to Fool's
the more
Gold
painful it will be.
to be related to the project. But obviously,
hold on.
you know,
There's
the
still
other
so
people
much
feel
that I need
different.
to say.
And all I can really do is try and live up to that. So, I mean, I can help in whatever
Yuito.
ways I can,
Kasane,
and just go from there, I
live
guess.
on. Knowing you're happy is all that
I think a
can ask
lot
for.
of it has to do with understanding that what you're feeling is valid, but also irrational. You know, sometimes you have to understand, like, yes, this is stupid, but yes, I'm feeling this. So where do we go from here?
So today is the day.
And now Mom's gonna die. Great. Maybe she'll get absorbed into the Mercury Dragon. But if you break down the amount of employees they have, it's not that much slice of pie. You know, a lot of people got mad at them.
I may give you my brain.
Yeah, I always found that
but
weird.
you can't have my memories of the future.
Valid and irrational is hard. Damn straight it is.
Joe.
They've had to rent a studio for all their shit? Yeah! Well, and that's the thing. Every time they put on a show is, it's a lot of work. And there's a lot of production value.
The body has been confirmed as the target, Wakana. Current theory for cause of death is cerebral overload due to a malfunction in the personality rehabilitation device. We believe an irreversible memory wipe was conducted. There is significant damage to the memory regions in her brain. Following protocol,
yeah, California is not
and
cheap.
Retrieving her brain.
One thing that I'm really lucky with is that my sister lives in, like, just outside of Los Angeles.
I see.
So, if I ever need to do something in there, I have a way to stay for at least a little bit.
She explained it to us earlier when the two of you were gone. The Kunad Gate wouldn't disappear as long as she was still present in this time.
We have a message she left for the two of you. Let me send it to you
This
now.
anime show is scripted. As if any writer on Earth is prepared to script 3 or 4 hours of content weekly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now I have to talk to everyone. Who are the most important everyones? We gotta talk to Kyoka. She gets to be talked to first. I can't adjust the camera. So I'm pretty sure this is her.
Wakana wasn't from this time period, so her situation was different than yours.
Mommy absolutely is the most important. Then we get Hanabi, because she's cute.
I know this hits the two of you harder than anyone else, and I'm here crying.
What kind of funny business is going on here? I think you deserve not only a Nightbot Aruto, but an Aruto Janaito! That's all you have to say, Arashi? My mom's
that
dead.
uneasy feeling we got when we unraveled the entanglement 11 years ago was because Mom's entanglement still remained.
We're gonna talk to Billboard last.
She held
you
back
guys
her
know the
feelings
reason.
so she could part with you with no regrets. She's a great person.
Yeah, she's great.
I kinda knew from the start that she was causing an entanglement.
Tsugumi's great too. I love me some Tsugumi.
Apparently, the entanglement will unravel when Wakana returns to the
He doesn't
past
deserve...
and
No,
dies
you know
like
what?
she did in history.
You're right. Except I can't do third from last anymore because I talked to more people, so he'll be second last.
Hey, don't be so down. I'm not saying that because I'm worried about you. I said that because it affects platoon morale.
Alright. You know what? I can kind of get behind Tsundere Shiden. I'm still not going to take his tinfoil hat off because I think it's hilarious. But I can respect him now.
I know she would have wanted to talk to
That's why he gets to wear a billboard of himself.
She thought spending more time with you would only make things more painful.
Tsundere ship works better on cute people? I think that's the worst insult that you've ever made towards any of these characters.
That's strange.
You tore the man's soul from his chest, laid his feelings bare, and just told him that he wasn't good enough.
All the entanglements we felt, we unraveled. The ones
God.
11 years ago.
It's like
50 years in the future,
slightly too cold
and
to not
one
use
during
the
Yakumo Sumeragi's time
kotatsu,
period.
but it's too cold to wear a cardigan while doing so.
What?
So we're going.
What does Yakumo Sumeragi's
We're going tank
time period
top.
have to do with anything?
I think one formed
And then
when we
hopefully
witnessed
the
Yakumo's
temperature will
assassination.
balance between my lower half and my upper half.
What are you talking about? Yakumo was severely injured in an accident, but he wasn't assassinated.
We don't really understand it either, but we saw Yakumo Sumeragi being killed by Karin.
What did you say?
We were busy dealing with the entanglement.
But wouldn't a
Yeah.
billboard of himself
There's
swell
no
his
doubt
ego?
in my mind that
Yep.
was former Major General Karin.
But you know what? His character has
Copied
developed enough
Kasane's
where he
power.
deserves it.
Yuito, if he also
He
copied
absolutely
your power,
deserves it.
But
I
he
think
didn't
that
copy
Billboard
mine.
has become a better character.
He could have time traveled
throughout
by
the course of the
resonating
game.
Kasane's power with mine.
I think he's had like legit character
So
development.
it hasn't disappeared because of the entanglement Karin created when he traveled back to Yakumo's time period?
Still doesn't save him from the tinfoil
But
hat.
the two of you couldn't find an entanglement. How do you expect to unravel something you can't find?
Tinfoil hat is there to keep him humble.
Karin can unravel his own entanglement. Yes, exactly. The only thing we can do is take Karin to the Chronos terminal and have him unravel the entanglement himself.
Wataru, can you check Karin's location?
I figured you'd ask, so I've been working on it. But I've got nothing. I can't find him at all. It's like he's disappeared.
Supposing that he's traveled to Yakumo's time period, that would mean he's in the past. That's where you're going to find him.
Alright, let's time travel.
Are you too sure the people you saw were really Karin and Yakumo?
Well, if they
We're
aren't, then we'll
sure.
just kill some
We
innocent
could
people.
see their
It's fine.
faces clearly. Actually, we only saw Karin's face.
But that was Yakumo.
And I'm so
I mean,
excited
he
for
had
you
the same
guys to
mask
see
on as all the depictions
the
of him.
character I'm playing next week for D&D.
Yes, that's it. The mask.
It's
that explains everything.
it's a character type that I've wanted to play for quite a while.
Kagero, explain.
Whoa, Sugumi, calm down. So, you know how Yakumo
And it's
started
not
wearing
the
mask because of
D&D
the
character that we
injuries he
made.
sustained? Rumor was, sometime after the accident, he suddenly
Think you let
stopped
Rogue
appearing
slip?
in front
Nah,
of people, and his whole
I didn't.
personality just
I
changed.
can confirm specifically that is not a rogue.
Personality changed. You're not suggesting... The real Yakumo was assassinated by Karin from the future, and Karin took his place by putting on the mask?
It doesn't matter. Either way, we still need to travel back to 2,000 years ago to check.
Actually, no. We might not have to travel at all.
I
You
will
all saw
say,
my brother's
it's
video,
not the
right?
character that we made
Don't you remember what
on the
he said?
stream that one time. And
Yakumo
yes, I made a
Sumeragi
D&D
is
character on
alive.
stream, but I think the VOD's gone, so...
What are you... He is asleep.
I wonder if I
Deep
saved it to
beneath
the YouTube
Seoul.
archive.
Even now, he is waiting for his revenge.
Right. Cold sleep. Just like Kagero.
If Yakumo is in cold sleep under Suo, then we can find out the truth by meeting him directly.
Okay, yeah.
If former Major
I took
General
4
Karin
hours
replaced
to
him,
create a
then
D&D
he'll be the
character
one
with a
down there in cold
backstory.
sleep.
And it's on the YouTube archive if you can find it.
Not entirely certain as to why he did what he did. But we can talk to him and have him help us unravel the entanglement.
Here. I'm trying to link it, but it's got one of those timestamps. One thing I will warn you about, I forgot to turn desktop audio on, so there's no music. It's just Carson talking to the
Do you
voice.
think he would really be in such a heavily trafficked place, though?
How about it, Yuito? It's your family's tomb.
Pre-RDF,
That makes
exactly.
sense. But I've never even been inside the building before. The head of the family is
That's how we
responsible for
divide the
watching
channel,
over
RDF.
Sumeragi
PR
too.
and AR.
I might be able to find something out if I talk to my brother.
The Chief. Do you think he'll listen to us?
Actually, I've been trying to reach my brother's terminal, but I'm not getting through. There's a chance he might have blocked me. Wataru, can you ask Major General Fubuki to talk to my brother? I doubt he'd refuse
I
a
will
call
say
from a
with
Major General.
the character that I created on that stream,
I just don't know how soon I'll get a response.
I made the Forbidden Summoner.
Want to stop by our hideout then?
So,
I'm sure Yuito and Kasane
in
could
Pathfinder,
use the rest.
the Summoner class is pretty powerful. It's a fun
Good
class
idea.
to play.
It would be
Highly
smart
recommend
to
you try
rest
to
while
play
we
it.
can.
But the Synthesis Summoner
Gemma.
is
All right,
hard banned.
Let's head back.
Because essentially, you have two states, separated and combined. When you're
Welcome back.
separated,
I
you and
messaged Major
your
General
summon
Fubuki.
have different
He
stats.
said it might take some
but
time
when
to get in
you're
touch with the
together,
Chief.
it takes your mental
Wataru.
stats and the summon's physical stats
I also asked about
to make
Major
just a
General
perfect
Karin,
being.
But apparently
So
Major
because of
General
that,
Fubuki
you can
doesn't know
power
anything
game
either.
to shit with it.
I see. Then I guess he really is in the past.
We don't have any other leads at the moment, so let's hope he's
An
in
insult
Sumeragi
it would
too.
be to watch now and ignore the stream. Hey Carson, old Carson's better. I'm gonna watch him instead of hanging out with you. I mean, I wouldn't say that you're wrong. Old Carson has its charms, but I think new Carson brings some interesting stuff to the table. Drink new Carson. Let's hang out with Arashi. She's good. I like Arashi.
You're lazy as always. You never change.
Thank you for the compliment. And you're as stuffy and by the book as ever.
Thank you.
I'll take that as a compliment, thank you very much.
During
So how have
Vampire
things
Month?
been with Major
Listen,
General
if a
Fubuki?
vampire drinks me, there's a
Good?
chance I also become a
Why are
vampire.
you bringing him up?
And if I get turned into a
You
vampire
rescued
right
him when he
now,
was
I mean,
missing.
I'm in my prime.
You used your power at full speed to go look for him, remember?
Oh, right. A lot's happened
God.
since then, and I can't be bothered remembering such trivial matters. If you must know, I think he's still
If
alive.
I pour it at this rate,
That's good.
my Dr. Pepper should have a decent head.
Just like always. She'll never change, will she?
There we go.
How's Arashi doing, Kasane? She seems
And now it's
strange
gone.
No. Did something happen?
I suddenly got a message from her
Listen,
saying
RDF.
good morning.
You got sometimes you gotta ask yourself, how many breads have you eaten in your life?
So I wondered if there was a problem.
No, there haven't been any problems. She's just lazy.
Sometimes you just need a boyfriend who's a priest that'll take your bone after you die and create a stand that allows you to ascend to heaven. And recreate the world.
He's such a worrywart.
Spoilers for JoJo
I
Part
guess
6.
I can check for him. Arashi, you got a second?
The main bad guy's
I was
Dio's
thinking
boyfriend.
about grabbing something to eat in town.
In town? Ugh. I guess it's not so bad going outside once in a while. So, where are we going?
You are acting strange.
Old when thirsty and young after some blood.
Fubuki said what? How rude. You should be mad at him for making you spy on me.
I mean, hear me out, RDF.
That's a little much.
I just start
you have a
putting
problem
blood in
with him, you should
Capri
message him
Sun
again.
boxes.
What
Well,
changed?
pouches.
I mean, you
Just be
messaged your
known for
brother
drinking
and
a
even
lot of
accepted
Capri
an
Sun.
invitation to eat out.
I told you that I hate waste, but it's not necessarily bad.
Have the humor
But
of
I
a
could
14-year-old?
fine-tune my
It's
lifestyle
not
a
necessarily a
little.
bad thing.
Consider it a
Some
personal
14-year-olds have good sense of humor. Not a lot of them,
haircut,
but some of them.
Naomi's cooking and his letters. I used to just write them off as a waste, but I started thinking that there could be some things that weren't so bad. Arashi 1.0 had a lot of flaws. Arashi 2.0 has been operating for a long time, but I see some areas that can be improved.
Can we get like an Arashi
In other
2.8 or
words,
something?
Arashi 2.1
Okay, we'll
is
get a
currently
2.1.
in open beta.
That's a weird analogy. Well, Arashi 2.1 doesn't seem so bad. I'd give it a playtest.
Thank you for the feedback. I'll keep that in mind.
At least Dr. Pepper has good head. Well, that's because I gave Dr.
Well, we
Pepper
finished
some good
skiing,
head.
and I'm feeling plenty energetic. I'm off to sleep
Through
then.
my skill alone.
The fact that you didn't say you were going to work means that the update is pretty minor.
If you change too much, you're bound to create errors. You have to stick to small changes.
Is that letter... I knew it. I thought she
Well,
drew it out.
we encourage
It's her
your
first
complete
sentimental item.
cooperation.
Arashi 2.1
Give them
is
roses
proving to
when
be
they
quite
think
the
you
major
need to
upgrade.
smile. I don't know all the words to this song, but I
Kasane,
kinda know the chorus, so
really
we'll just
are
go skip
strong.
to that.
Even with all
We'll
this
give them
discouragement, you just
blood.
take it and
Blood.
keep fighting.
Gallons of
That's
the
thanks
stuff.
to you and
Give them
everyone
all
else.
that they can drink,
not
and
that
they
strong
can
on my
never
own.
get enough. We'll
I don't
give them
remember
blood.
doing anything special,
Blood.
but I
Blood.
guess I'm happy I could help.
I hate trouble, but I'm always willing to help you whenever you need me to.
Well, Trouble's my middle name. Kasane Trouble Randall. Try to forget memories I don't need. Maybe there was a bug in the last Arashi update. I remember things I didn't want to. Ah, well, we should just play Code Vein then. It's a memory of when my brother was little. I thought it was weird that all the adults were fawning over the little creature. So by the little creature was a baby, do you think he was cute? Is it time to gift candles? Damn straight it is. My mother. Hey, Kasane, our mother loved us. Just knowing mother loved me makes me feel stronger. Do you remember the love of mother? Could be because our mother was a strong person. Strong and as kind as could be. Yeah, we'll keep just pumping Mom's ego in our brain chat now that she's dead. Oh shit, we got a brain text from Mom too. I'm sorry we have to part like this. I should have told you what I was trying to do, but I didn't trust myself to be calm talking to you two. I'll summarize what I told your friends. I'm going back to my time now. No, I should say that I went back. There are 3 reasons. 1, to protect the history of Wakana Sumeragi dying in 2009. I mean, to be fair, that was before Party Rock Anthem, so he dodged a bullet. To ensure the history where I received the red strings data was sent by Togetsu. Togetsu sent the data to me because they salvaged my brain and connected it to Babe. So my brain could be collected by Togetsu in 2009. 3, to erase the entanglement I created. If someone with the red strings power who is from a different time than you two passes through the Kunao Gate, entanglement is created. So basically time ring logic from Dragon Ball Super. As long as I try to pass through the Chronos terminal, the entanglement can't be eliminated, but my death eliminates the power and cause, so the entanglement can be erased. That means that I have to carry out my life in its original time. I've had this plan ever since I retrieved the red strings data. This will eliminate the Kunao Gate. What happens to the world after that is left to you living in 2020. Please, work with your friends to make a better future. P.S. I know I must have hurt you both, but I was happy that I was able to see my precious children grown up and strong. Thank you for being born, and for living. For giving me happiness. I pray that I will see so much more happiness than what you gave me. Yuito, Kasane, I will always love you. Wakana Sumeragi. Hey, can we actually do this? Probably. Are you free tomorrow afternoon? We should spar again. Fuck yeah, I'll beat you up. One day isn't gonna make much of a difference in results. I don't have time with you to train with you every day. You're just saying that because you're afraid I'll win. I just got over a wall and I'm feeling great. One day is plenty of time to get better. If you don't want to spar, then let's do it in real combat. We'll see who can take down the most others. You have no right to refuse.
I never thought I'd hear that from you. I'm honored. Thank you.
More parents should thank their children for being born. It's a real tough job. You know, being alive. I'm sick of thanking Mom for bringing me into this world. I didn't choose it. Okay. So I need to go to presents. Where are the candles? We've maxed out Kyoka, so she's all good. But I'll buy her 1 candle. Let's get something for Yuito. Hey, Kyoka. I'm gonna give you a candle. You're gonna like it.
This is nice.
If I ever get famous enough, and there's a Scarlet Nexus too,
I should talk to her.
I would absolutely ask them to put, like, a palette of flower candles in the background of one of the stages. Just for me. Baka Dictionary would be funnier. Here's a list of words for dummies like
the
you.
Togetsu agents contacted me.
The Baka Dictionary is
I was
just one
instructed
page
to
and it
go
has
to
your
these
picture on it.
coordinates located on Hieno Mountain. I plan to lure them out and gather intel. Will you come with me?
Yes, of course. But there will be 2 of us, so wouldn't it be easier to just round them up and capture them?
It depends on what they do. First, let's go where they asked me to and wait for them to show themselves.
Okay, let's head to Hieno Mountain.
I'd say 1,000 words. Aruto
Let's
Janaito.
keep going. Do you still have doubts about your existence? Not as much, thanks
I
to
mean,
you.
in any other context, that would be a
However, we should
hilarious
focus on the
question.
task at hand.
Hey, so, where do you want to go for lunch? You know, I kind of feel like Wendy's. By the way, have you ever had... Do you still have doubts about your existence? That's why I want for, the inevitable Tommy Wiseau's The Room 2. Oh, hi, Mark. Do you still have doubts about your existence?
The enemy is attacking with electricity. You'll be shocked and unable to move if it hits you.
Wendy's?
Let's keep going.
Wendy's nuts. Feeling the 50s. One thing I will say, and it's just based on what we have here in Alberta, but Wendy's has the best takeout fries.
I don't think I can lose when I'm with you.
I don't quite have a favorite burger place just yet, but I can tell you that if I had the chance to just grab Wendy's fries and put them with any meal, I'd do it.
Let's keep going.
It dropped something rare.
Thanks for being 100% honest with me, RDF. Wait, I can probably just do this.
I think psychokinesis and duplication go well together.
There we go.
don't you? That other attacked with explosion. It's dangerous to get close.
No shit. Did you come up with that theory all by yourself?
We need to regroup.
I'll support you.
Everyone all right?
Choka's duplication should be useful. There's a weakened member.
Sounds like I gotta use the all jelly.
Keep hurting you. Be careful.
Time to fight back.
Thanks. I feel so much better. The enemy is done. Now's the time.
God, these ads.
Thanks. I feel so much better.
Hanami, fire! Leave the rest to me.
Just do your best and leave the rest to me. Leave it all to me. I have no access to most of my psychokinesis.
Down. Let's finish it.
We can't give up.
Useless.
Ooh da da. Have Carson sing a thing. Anything in particular? Warriors by Imagine Dragons? I don't think I know that one. I'd have to look it up and see if I do. I don't know why, but my first thought was not Imagine Dragons, but the song Love is a Battlefield. Imagine Dragon. He's nuts. You got him.
Let's keep going.
Alright. Do I know this one? I think I literally only know, like... And this could be wrong, it's like...
I wonder, is my
God,
hair clipped
no, I think I'm remembering this incorrectly. We are the warriors that built this town. I mean... It was all set up. Sing anything. I played that as straight as I could.
I've got a nearby resource.
Didn't I? God, what is the song? Heart beats so hard, a feeling that I felt so many times before. Heart beats so hard, no matter how much I do this, I never get bored. I said I needed space, I wanted so much more. This is my galaxy, gonna explore. Heart beats so hard, it's just another universe and I won't be ignored. You say you're dancing, dance, take no for an answer, no way. I'm just persistent, baby. What can I say? Don't wanna be a black hole of negative emotions, it's true. I wanna be like ya, I wanna be good to you. Universe calling out, every whisper, every shout. Cheap shots on me, so drink up, honey, this one's for free. On the rocks, hit me up with another brandy. Don't stop, give me space, I'm feeling dandy. Do we deserve this? Is it our purpose? It's just fan service, this beauty on the surface. Yeah, I like what I like, that target demographic, so much traffic, getting tragic, all those thoughts are so Jurassic. So look a little bit deeper in these values and what y'all strive.
We did it.
Let me take this sleeper hit, gonna take this shit into overdrive, and take this thing into overdrive. On the rocks. Thanks, RDF.
Useless. Check me. More power.
Burn it.
Aha!
Useless. Check me. It's over.
I've been getting more into Ken Ashcorp recently. I liked his stuff for a while, but like... he does some good shit, and I hadn't listened to him for a while. He had a song about absolute territory. The gap of space between a woman's skirt and her thigh highs. And honestly, I really respect that. Oh, this has the plot marker on
It's
it.
around here. You should hide until they show themselves. All right. Wait. Something's coming this way.
Thanks, Gumi.
Oh, wait.
I'm taking this.
I don't need this. Whoops.
I know my power will help.
You got it. Actually, yes, it helps immensely. Makes the heart go doki doki. Damn straight.
Useless.
You got more class.
Let's keep going.
You... Sorry. Yeah, you got class. It's not just ass. The territory is a blast. There we go. That's how you finish that.
It dropped something rare. You'll need to break its outer shell. Kasane, use your psychokinesis and hit it with something heavy. With that oil, it'll be hard to move if it gets on you, so be careful. That was perfect.
Heck.
Some are close to their limit.
You don't say. What? One of those is me. I am close to my limit.
Time to fight back.
Thanks. I feel so much better.
Do something.
Sure, let's do that.
Here. It's not over yet.
I think it was actually Gaki's player that recommended Kanash for it, because he did a song about Pokemon that was really catchy. And one about Gravity Falls, too.
The attack hit the enemy's outer shell. You might be able to break it. The oil is making it hard to move.
We went all right.
The enemy shell is broken. Kasane, now's the time to attack. Take them out quick.
Okay, but I'm gonna do it in hyperspeed so that I can, like, actually hit the right part.
Using the Shidan.
Take it easy.
We did it.
Hey,
It's down. Let's finish it.
I think I finished it.
That seems to be the last of them. No, not yet. I know you're there. Come out. I wouldn't have called out if we weren't ready for you. Now, it's time to talk. It looks like you're the only one here.
Her face is identical to yours.
I suspected it. You're also one of the design children. Just so you know, restoring Babe's data is impossible, even with Dr. Pope's knowledge of neuroscience. I'm sorry you wasted your time.
Today at work, a pretty coworker was joking / complaining with you that
What do you mean?
if they made you
Vain
wear
confidence is not advised
mandatory
in this
vest for
situation.
curbside pickup, she'd come to
We
work
do not
only
need
in
the
it. Oh boy.
knowledge or the technology. We need your brain.
Are you trying to
the only
fluster
brain
me
that
at
holds
work?
Dr. Pope's memories. You were
Maybe it
going
was
to
just
use
a
my
real
brain to
avant-garde
build a
way of
new
trying to hit
Babe.
on you. And you just completely ignored it.
Babe prepared contingency plans for all scenarios. The current situation is just one of those. If the mainframe goes down, we use a spare. Togetsu merely needs to carry out the plan faithfully.
To be fair,
I feel
had
sorry
something
for you.
literally like that happen to me.
There isn't anyone to
I was on the
give you
train in
orders
Tokyo,
anymore.
and this
Yet
cute
you
girl
still
was
obey. You have
in
nowhere
front of
else
me.
to go.
And there wasn't any
You don't
space
know
to
any
sit,
other way
so
to
we were
live.
both standing.
You can only
And just,
carry out your
she
orders.
kept falling into me.
You should
And
be
all I
feeling
could think,
sorry for yourself.
I'm talking about, like, into me,
long as I
as
am
opposed to
serving a higher
literally
purpose, I
anywhere
can
else
live
in the
happily,
360 degrees
without
around
worry
her.
or hesitation. What about you?
And I'm just there
You
like,
lost your purpose and
man,
your
it's like
value,
midnight.
doomed to live
I
a
bet you
scared
she's
and
really, really
anxious life.
tired.
You were listening in on us? I do not have to. I know how you feel. You are the same as I am, a worthless being. Only Togetsu can give us value. No, watch out!
Bitch, you don't have bunny ears, though.
Don't compare yourself
really
to Kyoka.
cute.
You're nothing more than a mere puppet. And yes, I do my fair share of worrying, but that's a far better way to live. It's better than being used on my life like you. Life is worth more when you make your own
You love her as a friend? That's good.
Kasane.
Having a healthy relationship like that
matter what you
is like
say. Your true nature does not change.
mandatory.
You should be well aware of this. Yes, I know. I'm sure I'll be living scared the rest
Just
of my
mandatory
life.
happiness.
But that's fine. Kasane helped me realize that this fear is proof that I freed myself from my puppet strings. I control myself now. Whether I have Dr. Pope's
To one of the many
memories or
Tokyo
not,
cults.
I'm still me. The moment I freely chose my own future, I became the individual Kyoka.
You're right, though. It could have been a ploy to get me into
I
happy
handed
science.
her over to the proper authorities in Suo.
Fun
We
fact,
should
one
let
of
the
the
government
actresses
take
from
care of
Kamen
the
Rider
Togetsu
Forze was part of
remnants.
that cult.
Now, that's that.
How are you feeling?
They let
I'm
her
still
be
uneasy.
in it because,
But it's not bad now that I know
I think
it's
it
a
was
part
because
of
it was
Do you remember
based
that
on space and her
fortune
fame could, like,
I
elevate
remember
the
waiting
cult
in the long
status.
line.
It was weird.
I think the reason why fortune reading is so popular
She
is
was like
because
one of the main
everyone's
sidekicks,
afraid
too.
of the future.
You think so?
Yes. Everyone takes each step forward carrying that worry with them. I'd love to have my future read. Let's make sure we actually go next time.
In other words, we have to wait in that long line again. I'm glad she feels better.
I am too. Kyoka's the best.
I guess I should talk to Kagero.
Should I? Do I need to? We can talk to Yuito, Kagero. Shiden's busy. We can talk to Luca, Hanabi, Tsugumi. Let's talk to Tsugumi. She's great. Little short documentary on why there are so few trash cans, and it was just a single cult bombing easier to sort into recycling. Huh, I didn't think about that. We're making you hate this game? I mean, as the person actually playing it, the gameplay is decently fun, so it kind of is fine for me.
Yes, I'm free. Why don't we go to a cafe and see?
But I could definitely see how they would be kind of jarring to somebody watching it. You can tell that they had to spare some of their animation budget.
What did you want to talk about?
So they made still scenes.
It's hard for me to bring up. I have an extremely embarrassing favor to ask.
Okay, I understand this is uncomfortable for you. We can talk about it some other time if you'd like.
No. I'll find the courage. I want to change. I've thought for a while how I want to be friends with everyone, so I need to get better at talking. I was hoping you would let me practice my conversation skills with you.
Practice conversation?
I would do anything for you,
I can't
Tsugumi.
imagine I'd be the best person for that.
I want it to be you. You're easy to talk to.
Well, if I'm the one you want, then I've got no problem with that.
Oh, good.
What do you want to talk about, though? Anything specific?
What? I'll pick a topic. So, how have you been lately?
I have a favor
Lately?
to ask.
I haven't
Can you
really
go
had
into
any
the past
issues.
and
I
make sure I
see.
didn't go with a stupid bang
It's
job
good.
before I got
Not having
the ability
many
to
issues.
age?
Yes.
Thanks.
Well,
She does have a
do you
cute
have a favorite food? Or maybe
little
food
haircut.
you hate?
Not really.
I see. You're not picky.
15% actual
That's
gameplay?
good.
I mean, that's fair.
Uh-huh.
It really feels like maybe this just isn't a game that you're the target audience for.
Oh, what do you think about the latest trends
Yeah,
in
nice to see you,
fashion?
Marcus. Oh, hey,
Not sure.
let's have a drink for you.
Fashion's never been my thing.
I see. Mine either. What else? What can we talk about? I have to keep the conversation going.
Nah, that's fair,
Tsugumi,
Marcus.
Calm down and take a deep breath.
I'm sorry. I'm no good at this.
It's
just
why
a
we
thought,
weren't able
but
to
it
do
might be better to
Jackbox
talk
this
like
week.
you normally
Everyone was really tired after work.
But
There's no need to force a topic, and you'll have an easier
You
time
stole a
talking
fired
about your
employee's
own
Gatorade and
interests,
Mountain Dew?
like plants.
yes,
Ah,
but that won't be much
they
practice.
abandoned it. I don't think you can. I don't think
need
it's
to be able
stolen.
to talk about more things, or else nobody will have fun talking with me. I have to talk about things everyone else will
Exactly.
enjoy if I want to be friendly.
Does that everyone include me?
What? Why?
Because I've enjoyed all our conversations.
Really?
Really. I don't know about everyone else, but I want to hear more about what you have to say.
But I always thought you were just politely humoring me when I talked. I feel bad because I'm such a slow talker, and I'm always being such a bother.
No,
I'm
you're
not an
fantastic,
especially
Tsugumi.
patient person. If I thought you were a bother, I'd just pick up and leave.
It's true,
You know a lot
Kasane's a
of things
bitch.
that I and many people don't. And you're always so considerate to those around you, putting them before yourself. Your kindness in some way reminds me of Naomi. Whether you believe it or not, I like the time we spent together.
You know, Kasane had a decent amount of character development too, but it's really
Tsugumi?
not hard to develop
Are
a
you
character
okay? Your
whose
face
only
is
personality
flushed.
trait is my sister.
I'm fine. It's just that I never thought you'd say something like that about me.
God,
I
it was
thought I
like in
had
the.
to change.
It was like in
But I needed
Metroid
to be
Other M
different
when
because I'm
Samus
no
kept
good
saying
like
like
this.
the baby.
But if there
the
are
baby.
people like you who
That was
think
Kasane
I'm
with her
fun the
sister.
way I am, I might not be as bad as I thought.
I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Kill the
Kagero,
sister,
Yuito, and
exactly.
everyone else at the hideout probably feel the same way.
Just make it
We like
incredibly
you the way you
obvious
are.
that that's the character that's going to be offed.
You think so? I certainly hope that's the case.
The black bar tattoo. As you grow up, a piece of the bar fades to a letter.
Well,
By 21,
I'll
it's a
go
full
on
person's
ahead.
name. That person will
I'll see
also
you back
have
at the
your name
hideout.
on their wrist. You're supposed to be
I'm
soulmates.
really glad I met you.
Now imagine you have the person's name, but when you
So,
get to them, they don't have a
would
name
you
on their
mind if
wrist.
I
In
ask
fact, 3
you
other people
one
have
more
this person's
favor?
name as well.
That depends on what it is. Go ahead.
Could I be your friend?
I
If
think
you're
that's
not
how you get a
opposed to the
D&D
idea.
group together.
That's fine. I'm not opposed at all.
That's
what
how
does
you go
being a
to your main
friend mean?
NPC,
What
quest
do I
giver.
need to do?
What? I'm not really sure now that you've asked. Like, talk together.
Like,
Have tea
realistically, if I
together.
were in that situation
about
and
our
I go
troubles.
up to find them,
Haven't we been doing all
it
of
would be
that
like,
already?
Right.
Doesn't that mean we've been
so
friends
either
for a
I'm about
while
to
now?
get stabbed or I'm
Yes,
going to start an
I guess
adventure.
it does. So I suppose we continue doing what we've been
And
doing?
yeah, I think it would be a good time.
Okay. Call me anytime.
Or how you get all the
Kasane,
streaming services in a D&D group all
You'd be good at growing plants.
You think so?
You learn fast.
Lost Galaxy Blue?
And you're observant.
I think I remember
There's a
Lost
flower
Galaxy.
you like, or a plant you want to grow, tell me. I'll look for it.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. That's actually a really nice figure. One thing that I really like about the Lightning Collection figures are the torso joints. Because they're not like the traditional Power Rangers figures where it's just they bend in half. It's a ball joint with molding around it. At least I think that's a ball joint. It looks like one. Think you want to get into writing, but also you're bad at it? I mean, what is D&D but writing as a group?
Are you and I
If
pretty
I mean, if you've played D&D,
that
you have
surprising?
practice in
Maybe
writing,
this is what
so
it means to get along well.
I mean, go off. Don't know what you want to do? That's fair. The worst thing is like trying to figure out how to start. You don't write your ideas for D&D down though? No, but you still write the story as a group, right? Like, you participated in crafting a story,
think
so
about the amount of water you
I would say
need
that
for your
counts.
flowers, and make sure you... Are you listening to me, Kagura?
Yep. You know very well that I'd never
looks
miss a
pretty
word
rad without
my
the helmet.
beloved Tsugumi says.
Okay, but I'm going to be mad if you don't put this all to use.
I know. Leave it to your guy Kaguro.
You talk a lot with Tsugumi.
I think
You aren't
the
going to ask
only
her out on a
two
date.
Kamen Rider figures that you can do that with
Jealous?
would be
It seems like I'm back in the
Kamen
game
Rider
after
Genom,
2,000
the Black
years.
episode, and
I'm starting to understand.
Kamen
Do
Rider
you see
Zero
Tsugumi
Two
and me as
because it's
replacements for
Izu.
your daughter?
Because they
Oh, I
never
know.
gave
Wanna
you
help me
the
learn?
character's head
change the
with the
subject.
SH figure arts,
A good woman doesn't point
or
that
rather,
out.
like their real face. They
I
only
wanna
give you
go
the
clean up
helmet.
an old hideout I used
But
to use.
they made separate SH figure
old
arts for
hideout?
Kuroto Dan and
Yeah,
Izu.
It's a place I used to
So.
lay low back when I was doing my spy work.
Aim to write
There should still
2,000
be a
words a
lot of
day. Be happy if
inside
you reach
information
1,000.
and
Don't
classified
write large
data
chunks
on
all at
Togetsu,
once. That's how
so
you
I
get
thought I
burned out
might
and
as
lose
well grab
dedication.
it all.
Also, have destinations in mind, but don't map
That
out
might
the
actually
journey. You
be
can
of
always
use
edit
to the
later.
government when handling them in the future.
Plus, Galaxy
It's not
Blue
for
is
the
named
government.
Kai-Chen.
I just wanted
It
to
was
do my
difficult to get
part
the
when it
figure to
comes
hold
to
his
that.
helmet.
Okay,
I'll bet.
I'll help. Where is it?
Well
Ikachiba.
done on
get
accomplishing
going.
that, though, Daybreak. Necromancer who only uses ice magic. His name, Golden Buried. So what you're saying is you're writing Ace Attorney, but in a fantasy setting.
I just know there's going to be others.
God, that would be a
Last time
fun.
we came here, you said the city was
That would be a
haunted.
fun campaign.
Oh yeah. It just reminded me of myself a little.
The
Sadness.
the joke, Marcus, is that most of the Ace Attorney names are puns. Like if I just look for Ace Attorney NPCs and just scroll down the list randomly. We've got like,
What should we do next?
let's see. We got Larry Butts. There was one from the new one that I remember being like just the best pun. Where is it? I think I just have to look up Great Ace Attorney. We've got Herlock Sholmes. We got Ray Remember Me. Raiten Many Memo. Writing many memos. I think those were the best ones out of all of them. We should play an Ace Attorney game on stream. I love those. There should always be more wizard lawyers. That might be a character that I want to, like, do for a new, like a D&D campaign. Just a defense attorney.
With that oil, it'll be hard to move
Oh,
it against on you, so
it's
be
a bard.
careful.
And they went to the College of Law.
Let's keep going.
Our hearts are connected.
I'll do it. It's over.
Might be a pretty good team.
You just, you roll a
There's something
bard,
over there.
they ask you, so what college are you picking? And they're like, I passed the bar exam, I already went to college. Maybe the joke could be that they were always confused for a bard because they went to college. And they just picked up, like, an instrument just to be able... College of Lore Bard Paladin? That could do it. Overall looks pretty damn close to the actor. Mm-hmm. I find that the Lightning Collection figures are kind of hit and miss with the actors' heads. But, like, when they hit hard. Like, they do a really good job on certain ones. Okay. I have to get there somewhere. But how? Oh, can't pop a save? I'll just wait for them to leave. Or do this.
Alright, it looks like it lost us.
Nope.
Looks like there's
There we
a
go.
resource reading around here.
What, do I have a ghost following me? That's Kagero. His power is invisibility. Send a picture of the... Oh, wow, yeah, that's actually a decent likeness. I'm pretty sure Lost Galaxy was out when I was watching Power Rangers, but... I don't really have a lot of memories of it. Guilty. Smite.
The enemy is attacking with electricity. You'll be shocked and unable to move if it hits you.
Oh, really? You sure about that? Let me test it. No, can't move.
Don't fight.
That was a close one.
Let's a game, match a game, mooch a game. What's your name? I'm a Kamen Rider. 30 minutes on one Gloria wound? It's like that. Rendering detail takes a while.
That seems to be the spot.
Perish with the power of snacks. Yeah, the transformation callout's really strong. Let's see how many I can remember, because there's doubles, which is like Cyclone, Joker, and then it plays techno music. And then the O's one's like Taka, Tora, Bata, Tatoba, Tatoba, Tatoba. Forze was like 3, 2, 1. And then plays space music. Wizard was... Shabadooby-tash to Hanshin! Shabadooby-tash to Hanshin! Furame! Puris! He! Gaim was like, Lock on! Orange Arms! Hanamichi! On stage!
About our last conversation...
What?
We were in Mizuagawa.
Dry was like,
you were telling me to do something
start
meaningful?
your
Well,
engine!
I've been thinking about it
Drive!
ever since then,
Type!
but nothing
Speed!
really comes to mind. Once we stopped Togetsu's plan, I felt like I fulfilled my role.
What else?
I was thinking...
After Drive was Ghost, which is
it
like...
might be time for a ghost from the past like me to move on.
Listen,
Wachirimina!
that was the old you who fulfilled his role.
Wachirimina!
We still need
Kaigan!
Kagero here and now.
Ore! Let's go! Kakugo! Go! Ghosto! Go! Go!
What do you mean?
On the moon and
after
in Togetsu,
Ghost was
called
X-Aid, which
Shin
we covered.
Daniel.
After X-Aid was built, which was
Dawn
like...
is just a pseudonym. That name is a shimmer that doesn't exist.
Rabbit!
Maybe
Tank.
that's true for you, but for us,
Are
it's
you
different.
ready?
Whatever your real
Hagane
name
no
might be,
Moonsault!
the Kaguro Dawn
Something
we've
in
known
Japanese
the
I don't
RSF
remember.
isn't a
Rabbit,
ghost.
tank,
And
best
when you were
match!
talking fondly with Tsugumi, you didn't look like a
He
ghost
just
then.
shakes capsules. Those are full bottles,
What
I'll have
Tsugumi
you
and the
know.
rest of us need is you.
Gio was
We
like,
don't need some stranger from the past.
Rider time.
How is it that you've become this wise at your young age?
Wait.
I'm seriously impressed with you. Yeah, if people need Kaguro
No, I think it
Dawn,
was
then
like...
maybe I don't have to feel so empty.
G-O!
Perhaps it's time I put my past
Rider
self
time.
to rest and started focusing on the present. I guess I'll need to clean up my old haunts
You
first.
see what the Kamen Rider
We're
call
almost
outs?
to the hideout.
I got
Let's
like
go.
only a couple more. I think 01 was authorize. Yeah, it was like Inshin. Rising Hopper! A jump to the sky turns to a rider kick.
We did it.
Then Saber was like... God, I can't remember Saber's call out. It was like...
Let's keep going.
Nope, can't remember it at all. I think that's where it ends. Because we all know Revices. You looked at Saber, but you saw the suits, and you really want to watch Saber. I mean, it's in the... Maybe you like the Force Riser ones? Because they let you, like, break... Sorry, it was like... Break down.
Because the more dangerous a place is, the easier it is to hide.
Yeah.
Besides,
The Force
I
Riser
get
is
away
cool.
most dangerously going invisible.
But, I mean, so Saber's on the list. And it's on the list because I already have half the episodes downloaded, so may as well do that. But I've also watched half of that series. But I haven't watched any of Gaim. Besides, like, the first 2 episodes, of course. But I'm kind of leaning towards Saber. Want to watch Saber instead of Gaim because it looks better? I'm sure Gaim is fine. I think there's a good reason why people like it. It's got that dark edginess to it that people like to see in kids' shows. Yeah. Well, like, again, it was written by the guy who did Madoka Magica, right? So, dude's got a track record. And, coincidentally, Madoka Magica was inspired by Kamen Rider Ryuki. So, it kind of came full circle.
Fire! We did it.
The Lost Galaxy Rangers existing in the Avian versus Star Trek? That might be cool. Just have like an intergalactic defense force that's not affiliated to Starfleet. That would be kind of like rivals to them. So X-Aid was the same director as
Finally made
01?
it.
Yep.
I know it's shabby, but make yourself comfortable. Actually, something seems off.
And Saber had the same head writer as
Pretty
Ghost.
messy. Do you think
In
someone
fact, there was
broke in?
actually a Saber and Ghost crossover.
Seems like it. Wait here. Let me take a look around. Dang. All the data's either been taken or destroyed. Most likely Togetsu. They probably felt the need to clean things up when they realized I turned on them. I figured they would.
Or perhaps Lost Warriors?
Why come all the way
Maybe.
out here if you predicted this would happen?
Watching
Well,
the different styles
I
between
wanted to
Build
confirm
Forza
my
and X8 feels
suspicions
weird.
and also grab some of
Well,
my
it makes it
personal
feel like they're
belongings.
different shows, right? Because, like, I think part of the reason that Kamen Rider has... Yo, how's it going, Ashen Hunter? I think part of the reason that Kamen Rider has been around for
that a
these 50
picture?
years is
It
because
looks ripped.
they keep coming up with a new show.
Oh, yeah, it's an old photo.
Like, they get new
Is it of your
writers, new
family?
directors, all have their
If we
hand
find the
on
other pieces,
creating
we
their
might be able
version
to
of a
restore
Kamen
it.
Rider. So it stays fresh.
No, it's okay. It's not like this is the only photo I have.
But it's important to you.
What's important are the memories. Don't you remember what you said to me? It's because of the important things we've lost that we have to live on. And I think now is the time I need to get my act together and keep moving forward. If I keep dragging this on the way I've been doing until now, then I'm sure I'll start upsetting everyone.
It's kind of like if you were
Okay,
watching a
if
superhero
you're fine with
series that
that.
took place in the same universe,
Yeah.
but like the first hero was Batman, then the second the second hero was Captain America, and then the next year they did
Thanks for hanging out
Invincible.
with me today. Talking with you helped
Like-
me realize a lot of things.
It's
You
a really
said you were
cool
going to move
idea
forward. What are you planning
to just
on
have a
doing?
new show every year,
First, I'll
but
settle
keep calling
things
it
with
the
my
same
past.
series.
As someone who's worked with Togetsu, I
11th
have a
and 12th, you
responsibility
might get
to deal
lucky and
with
be able to
Babe
join
and
the Elden
Karen.
Ring network test.
I
Yeah.
have to see the things we started to the very end.
Have I watched it yet?
Then I'll finally
Not
be able to put
in
my
its
past
entirety.
to bed.
And when that's done,
I've
After
still
that,
only seen clips.
Well, I'll think about a new life. How I'll live, what I can do.
I think that sounds good. At least you don't sound as lame as you did before.
Well, well.
But
Seems
part
like
of the
you've come to
reason that I haven't
appreciate my
watched it yet,
newfound
RDF,
sense
is
of
because I
maturity.
said that I would do it on the
If you'd like
stream.
to go out on a date,
It might be a while before you find this new life of yours.
what is that supposed to mean?
So I don't want to ruin that.
These dates are your way of connecting with your daughter. To be the father you never could be.
Well, gosh, I keep telling you.
You want
that
to stream
shouldn't
the
be
Elden Ring
saying these things
beta?
out loud.
Yeah, do it.
I guess
I
I
did it
preferred it
for,
more when I was just the creepy old guy asking a young girl
sec.
out on a date. That work?
Okay, so Daddy Kagero?
Let's drop the dad a
Interesting.
bit. I don't think
Sorry,
my
so,
fragile heart can take it.
Looks like he's back to
The
being his old
spam
self.
bots actually have
That might be for the
what
best.
looks like a new way of doing things. And instead of going through the chat, they're sending me whispers. So they've evolved. As for this guy, let's see what it was. And yeah, Kagero's heterochromatic. He had to actually get one of his eyes replaced when he came back from the moon. There we go. Hit level 16, Form 2, exactly. We've unlocked the bot's second health bar. God, that was way too much effort to say, wasn't it? That's a Rina Sharingan? Of course, how did I not know? I never watched Naruto past Zabuza, so... I wonder if we could get away with doing a Carson Watches Shippuden kind of thing. Because I've been told that Shippuden is where it becomes like a crazy shonen anime, like everything else. But it loses some of its heart. The XA Ghost form is great. Okay, that was another one to become famous bot. Alright, Yuito, let's talk about Mom. It can be called the Lights of
Kasane,
Orion.
Perfect.
Ooh,
Do you
that'd
want
be
to come
cool.
to Kikuchiba with me?
Kikuchiba? What for?
There's something I want to talk to you about. I thought we could change locations, like we did when we went to Mizuhagawa.
That's fine. But don't worry
These are
about
correct
packing a lunch
statements.
for us this time.
Interesting.
I think it'll take too long. Let's just get going.
Oh, okay then.
You want to watch Ghost,
Kikuchiba.
but
He looks
you
like
just
he wanted to
know that
make
you're going to
lunch
get
for us.
disappointed? Ah, that's fair. Again, it's not bad.
Let's go to the roof of that building. If we're going to talk, I want to do
It just gets really messy.
All right.
And like,
As usual, this place is full of others.
It'll be easy if we fight together.
I don't know. You can probably enjoy your time with Ghost if you just take it for what it is, honestly. The character, Tenkuji Takeru, he's a good boy. And in seasons that aren't his season that he appears in as a guest character, he's fantastic. And I wish we got that version in the series. A disappointment by comparison? Not even by comparison. It was disappointing because essentially Japanese soccer moms complained about the themes in Kamen Rider Ghost because they tackled death and like rebirth and stuff like that. So they had to tone down the darkness. And because of that, the show kind of lost its identity and no stakes even mattered. And then the head writer actually left the series for most of its production, and they had to have a whole bunch of like different guys come in to fill in for that. So because of that, everything felt really disconnected. It didn't really feel like anything was managed well, and it was just a bad season. You can still enjoy it for what it is, but it definitely isn't up to the quality of other seasons. A lot, like, if we're talking about seasons that are disappointments by comparison, that's Kamen Rider Wizard. Because Kamen Rider Forze and Kamen Rider Gaim were both beloved series. Gaim for the people who really like dark shit, Forze for the people who like wholesome shit. But Wizard really leaned into the monster of the Fortnite formula, where like every 2 weeks they have a different monster. And the character, I mean, he got some development, but not to the extent as previous and the next seasons. But the choreography was the best in the series because, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the biggest reasons, the main character uses a ring, and they didn't want to break the prop, and they didn't want kids punching each other with the ring
came here
on.
together before?
So they made a lot of the combat weapon and
when was that?
spin kick
You know,
focused.
when we went looking for Captain Seto's
the
fountain
character
pen.
rarely used his
You
hands.
said you were doing a background
And
check.
because of that, it was really, really
Oh,
cool. And
that.
I'm really sad that people don't like
I met
Wizard
him for
because it
Naomi's
was
sake.
sandwiched in between
I got
two
the fountain pen for Captain
lovely
Seto.
seasons.
Now neither of them are with us anymore.
Back then,
The
I had
Sazage
no idea
Blaster
that we'd
and
get caught
Q
up in
Ranger?
something that involved
No
the
shit.
whole world.
Not just us, but everyone around us too. It's nothing we could have expected.
You're right.
Hello, sorry to interrupt.
More.
Two large groups of others were confirmed near you.
Well, that's the thing, RDF. They were okay with kids punching each other for all the seasons, but once you add their product onto the hand that's punching, then it
Affirmative.
becomes a problem.
What do you want to do?
Let's split up. That'll be quicker.
Okay, then I'll take this side. I'll contact you again once I take down a few.
All right. Let's both be careful.
If kids start getting Kamen Rider ring-shaped imprints in their faces, that's a problem for Toei.
There's
But
more
if
of
kids
them
just
than I
punch
thought.
people in the face while
How are
wearing the
things with
Kamen
you,
Rider
Yuito?
merch, that's fine.
Sonic? What's going on?
Yuito? I can't hear you, Yuito. Haruka, do you know what's going on? Neither of them are responding. Our signal is being jammed.
Get this
SAS
man
is
Coke
down
in a
too.
promotion.
I need to get through this somehow. Looks like I'm surrounded.
Only
I'll
the
take care of
finest, uncut, Colombian Coca-Cola for this man. I should probably pause while I pour. Just gonna pour this out off screen.
Sorry, I have a water bottle beside my bed, so... I figured if I was cleaning the glass, I'll pour it in my water bottle, and then I'll rinse the water bottle when I go upstairs. There we go. Can I talk to you about my memories? Oh, I'm in battle.
I can't believe communications went down so suddenly. Maybe it was careless to split up.
What is the song?
It won't be a problem for me, but I wonder if Newton's alright.
It's one that I've done on this show many, many times by request.
It feels strange believing in someone.
But it's become so prolific that some people are overdoing it. So that particular song is locked behind a 2,500 shark coin barrier.
It's alright. I won't look back. I will fight my own fight.
Do you know when 5-6 is following up? Well, the reason that his name is Kamen Rider Forze was because it was the 40th anniversary of Kamen Rider. So technically, Kamen Rider Revice is Kamen Rider 5-se. I mean, if you save up enough shark coins to redeem the song, then, I mean, you deserve it. You've dedicated this one? Hey, Ashen Hunter. I've invited a large number of ladies for an orgy time, but I have to say the responses thus far hadn't been what I'd hoped for. Stacy had a headache, Jenny was in jail, Brenda had to work late, Kate was getting Jenny's bail, Angela got scurvy, Ashley got a cold, Sally's dad exploded, that's what I was told. Michelle had to play checkers and was baking pies, Wendy's dad exploded too, that might have been a lie. Pam had frisbee lessons, Stella had ballet. Now I'm by myself, but I can have fun anyway, so dim the lights, remove my tights. Yeah, nobody's show, but I'm gonna have some fun. Let's get this party started, it's an orgy for one. It's me in my hand and it's hotter than the sun. So break out the tissues, it's an orgy for one. I'm working out some issues in this orgy for one. Margaret's cat got nauseous, Jane was way too shy. Steve was not invited because she was a guy. Claire was parasailing, Brooke said she was in space. But it doesn't matter cause I'm rounding second base all through the night. My grasp is tight. Oh, I'm beating so hard you'd think I was a drum. And I don't even care, it's an orgy for one. It's me all alone and I'm tugging on my plums. It's not just masturbation, it's an orgy for one. It's a fucking celebration, it's an orgy for one. Orgy for one. Orgy for orgy for one. 669 without the 9. Now pour the wine. I'm mine, all mine. I'm batting 1,000 and nailing everyone. Thank you everybody at this orgy for one. These pillows are stacked to look vaguely like a butt. You know I'm going for it, it's an orgy for one. You know that I'll be scoring at the orgy for one. My junk is getting sore and it's an orgy for one. G for one. Orgy for orgy for one. Thanks RDF for redeeming the song. I think that it's hilarious to think that if anyone joined while I was singing that, they would have had to click a button that said they understand that this is an 18+ stream, and that's the reason why.
No one quite sings it like me. What can I say? I have confidence in my abilities. For specifically Orgy for 1. I feel like I would be able to stand up in a duet with Dan. It might not be the greatest duet ever, but I feel like it wouldn't be the worst. Oh, Marcus redeemed the sing effect. I must sing something wholesome now. So not the song about the gap between thigh highs and a skirt. Got it. Orgy.
That seems to be the spot.
The Barney theme.
This is pretty good.
I mean, okay, that's pretty quick. I love you. You love... Well, sorry, I gotta try. I love you. You love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? Bitch, you asked for the Barney theme, not the specific Barney theme. I'll be honest, when I try to dig up in my brain the Barney theme, it just... Instead of Barney, it's like, Barney the dinosaur, he's my friend and a whole lot more. It just turns me to, Denver the Last Dinosaur. Okay. Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and when he's tall, he'll have what we call dinosaur sensation. Barney's friends are big and small, they come from lots of places. After school they meet to play and sing with happy faces. Barney shows us lots of things like how to play pretend, ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and how to be a friend. Barney comes to play with us whenever we may need him. Barney can be your friend too, if you just make believe him. Oh. Sorry. I gotta believe. I gotta believe. I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know. 知らない高い犬に why. Because I came too far. I think it's Kana Yoni, Kimi White. Nope. Give me a sec. I don't have furigana, so I can't read the Japanese one, but... Kizuke I came too far. 止まらない感じるこの予感は The new beginning 道のり意味は切り開くんだ I gotta believe Turn it on そっとexcite 高鳴るexcite 心が導くあの場所へだけ抜けてくだけI'm on a mission right now. I'm on a mission right now. Excite 答えは one この手の中進むべきライフ生きてくだけ The ooh nuzzles you into song just Joke's on you, I don't know that one. I barely know Pomp Kimochi. Man, I really relied on my SAS abilities, didn't I? Daiji and Sakura are actual siblings in real life? God, that's great casting.
That seems to be the spot.
Let's keep going. We did it.
I dropped something rare.
That song should be banned though? Probably. I think maybe I'll refuse that one. That's an auto refund.
I'll weaken this thing until he joins me.
No other choice.
Nah, I'm just gonna go crazy.
I can do this.
I'll crush you with my
I've activated Devil Trigger. You can't really do much now.
kill you. My head feels clear.
I got 25 seconds. Oh, okay, but I won though, so we're good. Adidas and Puma?
Yuito.
That's interesting.
SAS still seems to be down. That still didn't
Oh, you
do it.
misread? Ah, that's too bad.
I need to watch him closely to sync up with him when the time is right.
We could have had Mary Kate and Ashley as our new Kamen Riders. And the third rider would be Elizabeth Olsen. Kamen Rider Blonde. Kamen Rider Blonde featuring Scarlet Witch.
It was? I wasn't really all that worried. I assumed you would act when you did.
I was nervous. I guess we can work together even without SAS.
I don't think I could have pulled it off with someone else. Thank you for getting the timing right.
It's nice to hear a compliment from you. You're always so harsh.
The new American Kamen Rider season.
whatever.
Kamen Rider Drake
Let's
and
make our way
Kamen
to
Rider
the top.
Josh. After a leak, the game gets delayed? Yo. That's sad. But
get a good
I'd
view
rather
of
like a
Yuki Luka from
decent
up here.
game as opposed to a quick game.
So what did you want to talk to me about?
I wanted to ask you about your plans after all the fighting is over.
That's a
I don't want to
difficult
be
question.
hyped for Elden Ring and
How
then
about
have it
you?
be Cyberpunk.
What are you thinking?
You know?
I have a vague idea.
Give them time, don't worry
It
about
might
promises.
be too grand, so you'll probably laugh.
I won't laugh.
It's done when it's
no
done.
matter what it is.
I think Persona 5 got delayed for like
Thanks.
5 years, right?
I want to change the world.
Change the world?
Yeah. We've both seen a lot of bad things in this country. The world that we live in now is built on so much sadness and
Okay,
sacrifice.
only 3 years. It was delayed by
true.
3 years.
Suo, Seiron, and Togetsu. There were people suffering everywhere.
So many people's lives were turned upside down because of the desire for the strongest power, or using powers to alter time. It's got to end. This world can't exist just for powers.
Because its original release
That's
date
why
was
I want to change the
2014,
world.
then it got
To make it a
delayed
place where
to
people don't have to
2015,
rely on powers
then
for everything.
2017, I believe.
I know it will take
And
a long
then
time.
from February to
but
March
I feel
after
like
that.
as a dud, I'm the perfect person for it.
A dud. That's right. How's your head? They were saying you might lose your power.
No big change at the moment.
Tree Vice could totally
But
do.
if it really comes down
Don't
to
wash
it,
your hands. Your
I'm
hands
prepared
wash
to become one
themselves.
again.
You just stand there and watch.
You're pretty calm about it. The way you were talking, I thought you would be a little depressed.
I mean, it will be inconvenient. But you know what? I'm not the least bit afraid. I thought the same thing when the network went down. Like I was fighting back to back with you, even without SAS.
You thought the same
Oh,
thing?
that's interesting. For the
I wonder if
live-action
that's what it
Cowboy
feels like to
Bebop,
lose your power.
the original Japanese cast
We're
is
not
going to be
just
dubbing it.
connected by SAS. Even if we can't see each other's faces or hear each
Your
other's
schedule next week
voices,
is weird? Oh yeah?
the most important thing,
I think
our
my schedule
connection,
next week
doesn't go away.
that isn't streaming at
So
the
I'll
Toy
be
Store
alright.
is Friday and
That's good.
sorry, Thursday
When
and
we
Friday
first
from
met,
5:30 to
I
9:30,
honestly thought I wouldn't
and
be
then
able
Sunday
to count
from
on you
noon
in
to
a fight.
6:30.
I kind of had a feeling you thought that.
But you're different now. I think you really can change the world.
Thank you.
I think
Don't
you,
mention it.
Ito, can change
I'm
the
relieved
world.
as well. I
Got
feel
him.
like I
I'm
can
not even
leave
gonna
this
Naruto
world to
that
you.
one. It wasn't worth it.
Leave? What are you planning to do?
Well, I haven't
10
decided
to
on
3,
a clear
5
goal
to
yet.
10.
But I've sort of been thinking of something
4 to 10.
outside this world.
Like, outside of New Himuka?
What a weird shift, 4 to 10. Your week starts Saturday? Okay.
You mean the moon?
I've been
Change
thinking
the
about it ever
world.
since I heard
My
humanity came
final
here from the moon.
message. Goodbye.
Outside this world is another world that I know nothing about, filled with people who are a mystery to me. They're suffering, just like the people here. They are
Change
attacked by
the
others
world.
and turning into them.
My
Once I
final
realized
message.
that, I couldn't ignore it.
Goodbye,
maybe I could
Jojo.
The moon. I thought I understood the first time I heard
I'm pretty
about it.
sure I've seen the
But
Go
the
Buster
scale is
suits.
just too big. It doesn't seem real at all. I certainly never thought about saving the people that live there. You really are amazing.
I'm not amazing at all. I just don't want to regret neglecting the people I could have protected. My sister always watched over me.
Hold on.
She protected me all my life.
Hold on.
Now it's my turn to watch over someone else.
I always felt that you were the kind of person that would step up to protect people, even if you're alone. It's almost as if you're not afraid of anything. I looked up to you when I was a kid. I wanted to be just like you.
I think you're plenty like me. And you're giving me too much credit thinking I'm never afraid. As you said before, the most important connections never go away.
You mean Naomi?
Not just her. The memories of my mother. And the time I spent with all of you.
Yeah, but for a second,
reason I'm
just
not
for a
as afraid as I
second,
should be
the
is
Go
because I
Buster
know they'll
suits
always
looked
be
like
I know that they'll always be here.
It
inside
looks
my
like the red one was reused for
So,
Lupin
even if
Red.
you're alone,
But no,
you're
the
never really alone.
the color is a bit off.
I kind of like that.
That's why I feel like I can go anywhere. Even going beyond the sky. I know that sounds like a dream.
I think
Kamen
you can
Rider
do
Cross,
it.
Kamen Rider Cross, Kamen
No.
Rider the movie, Cho
I
Den-O
know you
Trilogy,
can.
Episode Yellow, Treasured
Thank you.
the End Pirates. Yep.
So,
Kamen Rider Den-O
looks
had
like you and I will be going
tons,
our separate ways.
tons of movies.
It won't just be us.
Den-O's actually,
think
I believe,
everyone
the
will
most
find their own
popular
path and slowly
season
drift
in Japan
farther
still.
apart.
Yeah.
The actor went on
I'd
to
be
make
lying
it
if I
so
said it didn't
huge
make
that
me
his
sad.
agency wouldn't let him do Kamen
even
Rider anymore
apart,
because it was beneath
We're
him.
still friends.
And he came back for the 20th
Okay.
anniversary of the Heisei Riders
We should
movie.
probably get back to the hideout.
There's so much to do before and after a fight. We just have to take care of what's in front of us.
Though, listening to you made me excited for the future.
It won't be easy for either of us, so let's do our best. Both in our own places.
Absolutely. I promise I'll make a better future, no matter how long it takes.
Bitch, you better.
You can take your time, but if you take too long, I'll bring peace to the moon and come back before you're done.
This
Oh,
doesn't
so
sound
it's
like a real
competition
plot.
now. I know you hate to lose.
What's the point of rich and fame if you can't use it to star in what you love? Exactly. That's why I don't think it would work for me to be part of an agency that would do that. Like, I would have to have it in my contract to say, like, if I say that I want to do something, and they let me do it, you guys have to just accept that. You know, if I star in, like, the first Kamen Rider live-action adaptation for North America, I wanna go back to that at any point I choose. Is getting a dark reboot in 2022. It's called Kamen Rider Black Sun. Yeah, that was part of their 50th anniversary announcements. The guy who directed Evangelion, Anno, is also doing an adaptation of Kamen Rider Ichigo. They're calling Shin Kamen Rider, which is different to Kamen Rider Shin, because Kamen Rider Shin is a body horror show. It's free on YouTube to watch, so go for it if you want. At the very least, I think it's still free. But I don't want to start the last chapter at the end of the stream, so we're gonna come back to this on Saturday. Now, maybe chapter 12 is really long, and I'm being a fool by doing this, but I've also got to like consider going to sleep and doing my gacha dailies. Speaking of Kamen Rider, we're gonna be watching Kamen Rider X-Aid and Kamen Rider Revice on Friday in the Discord. So get hyped. How to hit 10 already, right? It's like these streams go quick. Consider sleep. Maybe I'm just counting sheep, maybe I'm remembering the jungle sheep. I won't consider the jungle sheep, but I'll definitely consider sleep. Master Rider failed when Black and Black Arc Cross got adapted in 95, and joked this series is Toei's payback to Saban. Yo, that's great. Can I send you to anyone? I wonder if Angel's still going. Angel is in fact still going. But Javier is playing Ace Attorney Chronicles. What do you guys think? Do you want to watch Apex or do you want to watch Ace Attorney? Here. Yep, making a quick poll. And remember, this is which one you want to be sent to and actively watch. Good night, Marcus. Yo, Doodle Soap. Nice to see you there, bud. Well, there's a vote for Apex. There's 2 votes for Apex. After you download VLC? Yeah, I find that VLC is just the best player for stuff like that. Nope. Looks like Ace Attorney's overtaking Apex in the last minute. If you guys want to go watch Apex, you're gonna have to vote more. No, I think we're going to go see Javier on Ace Attorney. So if you would be so kind and tell Javier that you're doing a shark attack. That would be super swell. And I will see you guys next time.